Alright YouTube, so today I'm working on a 98 GTS. I've got some downtime because I'm waiting on parts for the GTX over there. I'm waiting to get that engine back into that ski. But in the meantime, I've got a ski here that is basically dead and not running. So I thought I would put this video together because this is exactly what I ran into when I first started and had no clue what was going on. I had no clue what to test. And so I want to show you some tests that I've run on this thing. I'm going to show you and talk about, I guess, mainly what I've already checked. The main culprits when you have a ski that is basically dead and won't do anything. Now I have a really good idea. I've already run some tests and I have a really good idea of what it is that's wrong. And it's the worst thing, okay? The MPEM, I think I have fried the MPEM on this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the E-box in the ski. But again, if you're new to this, you've decided to step out and get an old ski and you've pressed the start button and you get absolutely nothing, no clicks, nothing at all. Hopefully this video is going to help you out, at least point you in directions to go check and what to check and how to check it to get your ski running. So as I mentioned, what we're going to do is we are going to remove the E-box here. Now this is obviously, as I said, a GTS. Your ski may be different, a different year model, but they're all similar. Just you know, the E-boxes are all similar. It may not be exactly like this, but anyway, we're going to pull this box out, and like I said, I'm going to talk about what I checked, the first things I checked. We'll talk about that real quick, and then we'll talk about the things that I actually pulled from the ski and that I tested to see if that was my problem before I pulled the trigger and got a new MPEM for this thing. So all right, so let me stop here. Let me put you on a tripod and let's go over here, just some things to check when you've got a ski that will do nothing when you press the start button. All right, so what do you do when your ski does nothing pressing the start button? So that's what I was faced and still faced with this machine. So I just want to walk you through the tests that I've run. These are tests that I do based on either YouTube videos or other message boards, and mainly message boards, especially some tests that I'm going to show you that I ran. But anyway, so as I mentioned, the first thing that I go to is the battery. Well, the battery checked out good, so there was no issues with the battery. So then I thought, okay, the starter or the starter relay. So I've pulled the box out, so I've got it sitting here. But anyway, so I jumped the starter relay and the engine started cranking over just fine. So I knew that the starter was good. And so I thought maybe then I've got a bad relay. Well, I pulled the relay out of this box, I stuck it in another ski, and that ski cranked right up. So the relay is good. So there goes the first three things. So then I thought maybe it is the grounds. I got a bad ground. Maybe I have a bad ground wire. How am I saying that right? That I got a bad ground wire or bad ground connection. Let's get that out right. Anyway, so inside the box, there's a number of grounds in there, and I checked that. Everything was good, tight, no corrosion, so those were good. So then I went to the ground wire from the battery to the engine. I disconnected it from the engine. I sanded the connection there between the two to make sure that there's no corrosion or anything. And that didn't help. And I even swapped out the ground wire. I had an extra. Still, nothing changed. So the next thing I checked was just to see if I was even getting power to the relay. And I don't have it here in front of me, but what I could use a multimeter, but I just use the light tester, testing light, whatever you want to call it. When I touched the probe to the relay, it lit up on one side, but pressing the start button, it didn't transfer over. So I was getting 12 volts power to the relay. Nothing is happening. So that's when I started digging deeper. I went to some message boards and I saw how to test some other things just to make sure, because already I had an idea. I've blown the MPEM on this thing. I'll tell you why in just a minute that I say I did it. Anyway, you don't want to go spend that kind of money on a new MPEM when it could be something else. It could be the start button. You could have corrosion, you could have a short in the wire, whatever. But anyway, it could be the start button. So we're going to test that and we'll show you how I tested that. The other thing is the desk post. That could be bad. So you can test that to make sure that it is good. And then I don't have it here. I guess it's still over on the bench behind me, where we're going to go in a minute. But the key, how do you know it's not your key that's bad? In particular on this machine, I really couldn't tell with the key because since I've owned it, I've never gotten the two beeps when you put the key fob on the desk post. So, you know, that tells you if you're getting a good connection. Well, it's never done it. I guess the buzzer's out on this thing. So, anyway, so I tested that. Everything tested good. So it all led to the MPEM. So, why am I changing out the whole box instead of just buying a new MPEM? Because of the deal that I got on the whole box. So I found an e-box on Marketplace basically for the same price that it would cost me to buy an MPEM. And so at least I get the whole box, everything is guaranteed to work. And I decided that was the easiest thing to do, especially after, as I think I mentioned earlier, I started mapping out or tracing all the wiring harness, and I thought this is not really difficult. So basically I've got, all I'm having to do is disconnect the power cable going to the starter. That's one. I've got a power cable to the stator, and then as mentioned, I've got desk post to remove, and then I've got the fuel cable that connects just right under this seat. That's one part of it, and then I've got a long wire that goes to the front, and disconnect that, and then there's the start button cable and then the buzzer cable up in the front. So I think I'll take you off and just kind of walk you through in case you're in the same situation that I am in. So I anticipate when I swap this box out that it's going to run. If it doesn't, I don't know what else to check, and I'll be coming to you guys. All right, so let me stop here. I'm going to do a quick walk around and just show you what I'm going to take off, and then we'll go to the bench and I'll show you how to test those three things that I tested over there. So if you've done all that with your ski, you checked your ground wires, your battery, your starter relay, your starter, and you're making sure you're getting power to the box, maybe these other three things you can do to at least narrow it down before you shell out some big money on a new MPEM. So, all right, let me pull you off here, do a quick, like I said, walk around, then we'll go to the bench, and then we'll replace this box. All right, before we go over to the bench, let me just walk through this real quick and show you what I'm going to do today. I'm using the old box, like I said, to figure out how I'm going to put in the new box. So let me first thing I'm going to do is disconnect my power cable going to the starter. So if I'm going to drop you in here. So I'm hoping you can see that. All I've got to do there is disconnect the red cable from the starter. It's all I need to do. It looks easy, maybe a little more difficult, but there looks like I've already kind of stuck my hand. I was paying back a little bit. I've got just enough room, fortunately, on this machine that I can stick my hand right through there and get to that. So it may be different on your ski, but hopefully you'll have the same kind of access I do. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a difficult job. Second thing, let me get the light here, is right there on top of the stator. It's got the power cord going to the stator, so I just have to disconnect that. Now the rest of the wiring, all right, try this again. GoPro cut off. I guess I have got it set on a timer of some sort because it continually cut off on me when I was working on the engine rebuild on the GTX. Anyway, the rest of the wiring goes up under the hull and to the front of the ski. So let's go up here. So what I'm going to do, let me get my light in here. So I'm going to disconnect this cable here, and then just behind it, I've already disconnected them because one of them was the start button. So I've got these two that I've already disconnected, but these are all, not this one, but these two are connected to this wire here, and they're just, on this ski, they're just held up here by clamps. So that makes it much simpler to remove and put the new back on. So that looks like about it. Now there might be one or two more things once I get into this, but that looks like all I have to do. Now I do have to run the desk post up through here, and so that doesn't appear to be too difficult. I've got the get my light on it, so I don't know how well this is picking up. So you see I've got one already in there. So when I started having trouble, I went and pulled this off of my ski, one of my part skis in the backyard, and to test it out, and still nothing happened. So I've got the old desk post in there from that one, and I've got the original one over on my bench that we're about to test out. I think that's it. It looks simple. Like I said, I haven't done it before, but anyway, so let's move on and let me show you what I did, or the test that I did on the start button over here, and the actual key, and what was the third, and the desk post. So let's go check those out. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at our key here. So got this set on ohms, and I'm just going to got it set on sound. So you should have continuity by touching the probes to each side of the key. So just on the side walls. And so you heard the multimeter over here. And so the second thing is you should have a low amount of resistance by touching, I believe it's the red to the upper plate there and to either side. And so if it goes over, if you can see the reading there, if it goes over that, then you have an issue with the key. Anything that or below is good. So it's not, you should have resistance, but not that much. So the key was good. All right, second thing, let's test the start button, because you could have disconnected inside the... All right, again, the GoPro just shut off. Frustrating. I don't know what's the deal with it. I haven't even tried to fool with it yet, but anyway, back to the start button. You don't know if you've got some kind of corrosion in here or, you know, a damaged wire. This could be the culprit and lead you to the wrong, spending a lot more money than what you need to. So I still have it set. I still have it set on ohms. So the key is to get, it doesn't matter which side, but is to get the probe set on each one of these connectors in here and touching. So that can be a little challenging. Let me try here. Well, this is not working as easy as I thought it would be. There we go. So I have continuity when I press the start button. This tested good. So I knew that was not my issue. So now the desk post. How do we know if your desk post is good? You got 3 wires here going into your E-box. So I'm going from memory here. Let me see. I'm going to take the, let me see, because I don't remember. I do remember that the white and gray, all right, you should have continuity from here to the tip of the desk post. So let's just put one probe in here and let's touch the tip of the desk post so you can hear the beeping where you're good there. Okay, so now we're going to test the side. So we're going to do the same thing, just stick probe, it doesn't matter which one, into the black wire again. There is the black and yellow. We're not testing that just yet. So we should get touching the side, and we do. So far our desk post is good. So now, oops, we're going to test it with the key on. We're going to test for continuity. So now we're going to bring out the yellow and the black wire. With the key off, let's see, and the black wire. Okay, like I said, I'm going from memory. So we got the black and yellow, and we have the black wire. So these two, there is not going to be any continuity. However, when I put the key on, we should have continuity, and there we go. So there you go. The desk post is good. Each one of these tested good, and that's narrowed it down to my, what I assume is the CDI that I of course fried by connecting a battery charger to the battery while it was still connected inside the hull of the ski. All right, so let's get back over to the ski now and start changing out this box. Okay, this was a much easier job than I thought it was going to be. So first of all, the hardest thing was getting that small nut off of the starter, connecting the power cable there to it. Getting it off was difficult, but getting it back on was simple. I got the, so we got, that's replugged, and let me come around to the other side. So I got everything swapped out here, ran it back through. I've got each one of these connected here. I believe I've got it connected properly. We'll know because I'm about to press the start button. I just got it running through the start buttons. You see, I haven't run it back through the handlebars. Just got it sitting up here. I just want to see if it's going to fire over. And again, simple job. If you're looking at this, didn't realize how easy it was. So, throwing a battery up here on the side. Anybody interested in well, I guess all the other stuff is probably good except for the CDI in that thing. All right, here we are. Make sure I just have, sorry if I don't have it pointed the right way. Just making sure I got the fuel cut off. And I've got everything kind of plugged in as far as I know. And here we go. Now, before I was not getting the 2 beeps and still not, that was not a concern. So let me grab my start button here. All right, guys, I'm a little nervous here. So what is going to happen here? At least try and turn over. Let me just put it that way, because I don't think that battery is that good. So at least it's trying. That battery will not turn it over. So let me, real quick here, take out the spark plugs, and then we'll try it again. So hold on just a minute. All right, guys, so pull the spark plugs out. At least we got a click the first time around. So I just want to hear this thing turn over to know that we've got this thing, that CDI was my problem. So all right, got my start button in hand, battery hooked up, everything hooked up. Let's see what we get this time. How about we put in a key? How about that? All right, what do we get? Guys, that is awesome. Ooh, can't be happier. I didn't know, if this didn't fix it, I honestly didn't know what I was going to do next. I'm excited. This means this thing's ready, at least seeming so. Get a good battery, and we are ready to get this thing back out on the water. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'll do it off camera, but I'm going to go ahead and do a compression check on this thing while I've got it off, while this thing will turn over. But hey, guys, I appreciate you joining me. If you're having the same issues, I hope this helps. I hope you get your ski back out on the water, and one of these tests and one of these issues maybe was your issue as well, and this will help you get your ski running. So, all right, I appreciate y'all you joining me as usual, and we'll see you on the next video.